had to come earlier than my time to ensure that I also learn. And without mincing word, I have learned even a lot of things that I never knew before today. And I'm sure all of us learned the same as I did, or even better than I did. I'm always happy when I'm called upon, or the few times I've been called upon to talk to younger people than myself. Because I believe that there is always something in the younger people that they have to bring out. If we don't tell them, we don't remind you that there is something that is deposited inside of you that the world is waiting for to harness and benefit from, that thing will remain there. And that thing is called ideas. Each and every one of us is imbued with numerous ideas that can change this world. Most of the time we blame people. We blame presidents of countries. Even our president, all of us here, we would have blamed our current president for one thing or the other. We would have blamed Jonathan. You would have blamed Obasanjo. You continue to blame. But at the end of the day, after blaming, nobody says don't blame. After blaming, look inside yourself and say, what is the solution to this particular issue that a whole president cannot provide? At the end of the day, you see that you have that solution. It is inside you. Without me telling you, you discover that you always have a solution to the problems. If I ask now, what is the problems, or one of the greatest problems here, somebody will tell me is security challenges. If I say, how can we do it? All of us will provide solutions. But I ask, why is it that we, at our lower levels, we have the solution, and even presidents, ministers, they don't have it? Don't you think something is wrong somewhere? I can tell you, the next time it will be your own opportunity to sit there. And when you sit there, you must be able to provide solution. So I will start by first appreciating the organizers of this program for bringing our youths together to learn. Not just to learn what we know, to learn how to bring out ideas from inside of them. I have heard a lot of questions, very intelligent questions from you. So I thank you, great minds. I thank you, Sister Joy, and other facilitators that have spoken. God bless you, really good, in Jesus' name. Today I've been asked to speak on professional ethics. So I called it Learnings in Ethics, Leadership and Followership. For everything we do, we have leaders, we have followers. Or we have leadership, we have followership. There cannot be a leader without a follower. If you stand alone and say you are leading, the next person or the person you are talking to will look at and just beside you, where are the people following you? That is, where are the people you are leading? If you have to define a leader or define leadership, if without the mention of the word followers or followership, that definition can never be complete. So we look at ethics in leadership. Now we start by definition of ethics. We would have heard about the word ethics, all of us. Even if you've not heard of it, you have been using it. If you have not been using it, you've been telling others, you've been applying it without knowing. So today we are going to learn what it means and how we do it better. And when we see them or we find ourselves in position where we apply ethics as followers, as leaders, as youths, as children, as parents, as adults, we know exactly what is required of us and how to do it. So ethics can be defined as a set of standards of social conduct that is generally accepted by a people of a particular sect. It identifies and separates what is right from what is wrong and sets the moral duties or obligations to do that which is right and avoid that which is wrong. So from here we see that when you are talking about this ethics at a particular time, there is always a contrast between two words. Conflict, they conflict one another. What is right must be separated from what is wrong. Most time, instincts leads you to do something that is wrong. At the same time, another thing will tell you is what I am doing right, or is it wrong? So when you find yourself in a position, we look at it from the point of view as a follower. We also look at it as a leader. Agree with me or not? You may be a follower today. You might be a youth today. Tomorrow you are going to be a leader. You are going to lead. You will lead organizations. You will lead even your house. You will definitely lead one time or the other. In schools, most of us will lead. Either as prefect, what do we call it? There's a word we use. There's a name we call people leaders in classes. Then, I can't remember again. Class captain, class reps. Yes, thank you very much. You will find yourself doing this. So there are some things that are expected of you, and there are other things you will expect from other people. We continue. Members of any association or group, profession, trade have moral obligations to behave and observe ethics or code of conduct of that set. These sets or rules are formulated into code of conduct which guide members' action. And violation of these codes attract sanctions which are not limited to fines, reprimand, or loss of membership. So you see, ethics is not a law. It's not a law because people will not look at written laws to judge you when you violate codes or terms of ethics. Rather, they will sit and use their own initiative, determining what you have done wrong, whether it is acceptable by the people that you have applied it to or not. Then you will not be adjudged good or bad in what you have done. So we're going to learn about these things as we continue. Ethical standards differ from organizations. In churches, in schools, in association, etc. For example, we have a boys brigade. They have their own ethics or code of conduct. We have a girls brigade, girls guild. Even in churches, we have a mothers union. We have a good men and good women fellowship. All of them, they come together and determine, in this our association, in this group we are, what are the things that will bind us together. They will state that we will do this, we will do that. We will do this, we will do that. We will not accept this from anybody, we will not accept that. For example, in a church, I know that many churches, if not all churches, many churches, they expect their women to cover their head when they are in church. Some others have found a way of doing it. For example, if you go to an Anglican church or Catholic church, you are not covering your hair as a woman. You will not be allowed to enter at all. You will not even be allowed to enter inside the temple. But if you come to some Pentecostal churches these days, they allow that. I'm not saying it's bad, but because in that particular organization, they have agreed among themselves that so long as we exist as this entity, these are the codes that will bind us together. So that is called ethics. They develop their own ethics to suit their particular need and what they can abide by. Examples of these ethical codes. For example, we see in some organizations, it is normal. They see it normal to give bribes. You know, bribe, we all agree that giving of bribe is not good. I remember sometimes many years ago, let me keep the name. During a military leader in this country, some foreign journalists came to this country to interview them and to get stewardship from the government. When they arrived, they prepared 5-star hotel where they will stay, took care of them, gave them food. After the interview, as they were going, the minister sent some of his aides to give them envelopes loaded with cash. And these people, foreign journalists, they rejected, they turned it down. Said, no, we don't take this because the ethics of our profession forbids us from taking bribes or gratification from anybody. Whether we have done the job well or not, we don't take it. You see, two things happened there. Somebody said, go and give. So in that particular dispensation, they consider it normal. It was not a sin to package a gift or to package bribe to give to somebody in order to influence what they are going to report. But on the same issue, the other person is saying, no, the ethics of my job does not allow me to accept anything from you because you are giving it to me because of the job I have done. I am paid salary. I'm not supposed to take it. That is how ethics operates in different organizations. It is also wrong for you as a student to offer bribe or inducement to your lecturers. We have seen severally where lecturers were reprimanded or sacked or punished for one reason, suspension, because they accepted bribes from students to influence their decision, especially marks. I was reading last week about a lecturer in one of the Eastern universities that was suspended, or he was sacked. A lady was sacked for accepting money and altering the result of students, a particular female student. She went to court, and the court even increased the punishment and said, yes, what you did is not, the enormity of the offense is too great for the punishment they gave to you. The punishment is too small. They had to add fine that she will pay, remove her completely as a lecturer, and ban her from holding any office in any institution where she will be a lecturer. So that is what ethics would do. That is what you can get by not conforming with the ethics of that particular organization. So fundamentals of morality. Morality is a norm of behavior or practice which is expected to be right and acceptable by the people in that particular sect. We have so many issues about morality. I'm discussing about morality. These are some traits that are in you or that you have to exhibit. They must always be right. They must always be acceptable. Number one among them is solidarity. The principles of solidarity is enshrined in the statement or esprit de corps. We do hear it among mainly military men or paramilitary. Esprit de corps is so common. We also hear it among organizations, people who come together. You want to agree esprit de corps. Immediately you say it, I will recognize that we belong to the same association. We belong to the same group. So what is expected of me, I'll begin to look out for some things. And you must also treat me in the same manner so that I will not violate the code or the ethics of the association which both of us belong to. This esprit de corps is a spirit of unionism. It's a spirit of sportsmanship. It's a spirit of teaming. The spirit of I is also another issue in solidarity. When you work with people, you must learn to forbid or to say less about I. You must do with we, us. This is we. We are going to do this. We are going to do that. Not me. If you concentrate on me or I, it will only take you to your limit. It will give you the best that you can achieve. But if you concentrate on us, we, you will always break limits. Let me give us an example of somebody who did I and we to break limits. We all know Usain Bolt. Is there any person that doesn't know Usain Bolt? You know Usain Bolt. You know Usain Bolt. Who is he? What does he do? He's an athlete, and he's the greatest sprinter up to today in this world. How did he become the greatest sprinter? Because he ran the 100 meters race at the Berlin Indoor Athletics Championship in 2009, and he returned at a time of 9.58 meters. 9.58 meters. That is the time he returned the 100 meters. Before then, nobody had ever done it. I think the best before then was Ben Johnson in Seoul Olympics, 1988 Seoul Olympics. If not 98, but I know it was in Seoul. Then he returned at 9.7 something meters, making him the greatest. Then the press carried it. You know the caption, only bullets can beat Johnson. He was everywhere. Anything we do that time, we say, I am Ben Johnson. Anybody that could run, Ben Johnson, until Usain Bolt came recently in 2009 to break that record and every other record that was set before him. But something happened in 2012 Olympics in London. 2012 Olympics, the final relay, there were 4 people, Jamaican team, made up of Nesta, Castor, Michael Frater, Johan Blake, and Usain Bolt. They ran the relay for 36.48 meters. 36.48 meters. That is what they returned in the 4x100 Olympics. So each of them ran 100 meters. But 4 of them did 36.84 meters. So if you take the average, if you divide 36.48 by 4, it will give you 9.21. That is, at an average, each of them did 9.21. And they broke the world record again. Their quartet is now the world record holder in relay. One of them did the best individually at 9.58. And he's still the best today. But when he went as a team with others, he returned at 9.21. Can you see the difference? As of today, we believe that only machine will beat that record. If that record will be broken, I'm not sure it will be in this generation of runners. Another set of generation will come before that record could be broken. So that is what the spirit of we can do. The spirit of I will give you the best you can provide. But the spirit of we will always take you to the next level. So the spirit of we is one thing we consider in solidarity. It is very important. It's an ethical issue that you must imbibe and exhibit at every particular time and wherever you find yourself. The second thing in morality is equity and fairness. This shows that the combination of kindness and justice is impartiality, on the part of managers, elicit loyalty and devotion from the subordinates. A leader, a manager, must always show equity and fairness in judgment, because that is the only way you can elicit loyalty and devotion from the people you are leading. If I'm not fair to you, or I'm not fair to the group of people that I'm leading, we will never achieve our set goal. We can never achieve our set goal. We have a target to take something to a particular level. And in their group, I have 10 people to do it. For example, we want to raise this thing and place it on this wall. It seems impossible. I have 4 people to do it with me. Out of the 4 people, I have my friends. I begin to show favoritism. They carried the first time, the thing fell. I will call 2 people. I spank them. I will rebuke them. I will reprimand them. And the other 2 people, because they are my friends, I will keep quiet. There is no fairness in what I have done. When I ask them to take it to closer, you'll see that the people that have reprimanded will be reluctant. They will do it such that it will fall again, so that the other people will take blame. But if in the first time when the thing fell, I came up and speak to all of them equally, reprimand everybody equally, and charge them that this thing though is heavy, but you can do it. We can hang it there and satisfy the people who have given us the job. I encourage everybody equally, and when it's time to reprimand, I reprimand everybody the same way. When I now say, let's go for the second time, everybody will bring out his or her mind, and before you know, we will achieve that particular task. That is what equity and fairness can bring to us in the dispensation of justice and in doing our job. The third thing is authority and responsibility. Authority works in opposition with responsibility. Authority flows from top down, while responsibility flows from down up. If I'm a leader of a particular sect, I have the authority to pass down information, to give directives to my subordinates. And when I do that, my subordinates have the responsibilities to respond by delivering on the particular target that we are expected to deliver. We have a goal to achieve. I am the one at the helm of affairs. So I have the authority to establish rules, to generate codes of conduct, to set out the target each and every one of us will achieve. Then the responsibility to do it is yours. If I don't establish my authority from up down, you may not be able to respond. And if as a leader I am saying doing petty things, I cannot come up to you and say, come and deliver on this particular thing. For a leader, you must be able to do what you are expecting your subordinates to do. Not just doing it, you must be able to do it even better. That is one of the ways, or the only way you can achieve result from your subordinates. The fourth issue on morality, accountability, and reliability. I told us that on moralities, all these things are the things we must learn to do. We must imbibe them. They must be seen, and it be obvious that we are doing them. Accountability and reliability. The condition of being accountable or responsible to a course of action or the authority bestowed on you. When you are given an office of responsibility, you must be accountable to your superiors, and you also must be reliable to your subordinates. The people that are looking up to you or that are working with you, they too have also responsibility of being reliable. If I'm given a team to work with, for example, we're asked to build a power station that will provide light 24 hours, and we are given just 24 hours to do that. I will get a team to do it. If in the first 1 hour, some people are able to even bring up ideas, I will drop them. I give you another example. During the Second World War, I wasn't born then, but we read. Has anybody read about the Second World War? But you must have heard of the German leader, the president called Adolf Hitler. He was the one that led the Second World War. They led the Germans to war, and they conquered most part of the world, Europe, Asia, and even Africa. So the story I want to tell us was their inquest into Africa, or how they conquered Africa. When they wanted to enter Africa, they were to enter through the Sahara Desert. But they discovered that there is no vehicle that can go through the Sahara Desert to enter Africa. Why? Because vehicles use water radiator. Any vehicle they will put inside the Sahara Desert, the water radiator will evaporate before they do 1 hour. So he looked at it and said, bet we must enter Africa. So he called all his professors, all the mechanical, civil, and the electrical engineer. I called them together and told them, I need a car that will pass through the Sahara Desert in the next 24 hours without the use of water radiator. That was all he did. As the leader, he gave out the charge and asked them to produce a car in 24 hours that will cross the Sahara Desert, and that car must not use water radiator. And in 24 hours, the German professors produced a car. And up to today, that car has not been replicated, except other types of cars that we know the car. Volkswagen Beetle. That is the only car that doesn't use water radiator. We know Beetle. We know Volkswagen. If you know Volkswagen, you know Beetle. The one they call Volkswagen Beetle. That is the only car that does not use water radiator. And that is the only car that the engine is at the back. All the cars, other cars you see, the engines are in the front. But the engine of Volkswagen Beetle is at the back, so that you would have moved past before heat. It was done to reduce the impact of heat on it. So Volkswagen Beetle was produced by Germany or German inventors in 24 hours after the charge given to them by Adolf Hitler. And it was with Volkswagen Beetle that they crossed into Africa during the Second World War. That is what authority and responsibility could do. Then we have rationality as the fifth point. This is the principle of taking and making choices or taking actions based on good reasoning, facts, verifiable evidence, and statistical data, rather than on emotions or biasedness. Rational people take decisions based on objective analysis of available alternatives. We are talking of being rational. You find yourself, I gave an example of a team lifting something and you are in a position to judge the 4 people. Rather than being rational and judging them equally, you separate your friends from the ones that are not your friends. You scold the first set of people, you leave the other ones out. You are not going to get any result from that team. At the end of the day, that task will suffer. And who will the blame come upon? The blame never goes to the workers. It doesn't go to the junior people. The head always takes the blame. Whenever there is a failure, it is the leader that takes the blame. Most of us will watch football. When a team loses, when Arsenal could not win any cup for many years, who did they sack? They sacked the coach, Arsene Wenger. Was it Arsene Wenger's responsibility to play football and score goals and win games? No, but because he was the leader. It happened to Jose Mourinho in Arsenal and other. They sacked him. Did you hear that they sacked any of the players? They didn't sack the players, whose responsibility is to score and win games. But they took the leader and sacked the leader because the leader is the head of the team. So leader must always take responsibility for failure of a team. And by taking that responsibility, you accept whatever will come and you ensure that you do the job effectively well. Then the 6th and last item on morality is efficiency and effectiveness. Efficiency and effectiveness, they come in opposition to each other. Or rather, where one stops is where the other begins. If you look at, I don't want to ask us questions because of time. If you look at issues concerning efficiency, I will define efficiency as doing the right thing. Let me look for a good example. Doing the right thing is the just direct meaning of being efficient. But the next question, what you are doing, is it the particular thing that you are supposed to do? The answer is no, you are efficient. If the answer is yes, you are effective. So effectiveness, taking it from that point, means, sorry, I messed up the definition. Efficiency means doing something right, while effectiveness means doing the right thing. You'll find yourself in a situation to do something, and you know that is you have to do something, you do it. Not minding whether that is the right thing you have to do, or that you are just efficient without being effective. But if you are doing what you are expected to do in the morning, or at a particular time, you are being effective. Let me use an office example. If you go to any office, for example, my office is on the 4th floor. I have receptionists or customer service officers, they stay on the ground floor. So any customer or mails coming in, they are the first point of call. You know, receptionists or secretaries, they are the first point of call. So if you bring a letter that is coming to me, I expect them to receive it, open the letter, read through the content, and know whether it's a letter that requires an urgent attention or that doesn't require an urgent attention. If it requires an urgent attention, they have to bring it to me immediately. If it doesn't require an urgent attention, they put in the file mail trail and they will pass it when we have like 4 or 5 mails and they bring it to my office. But now think about a receptionist who is in the office. We receive a letter, open it, it's an urgent letter. And what is he supposed to do, or she? She's expected to receive it and stamp it because she has gone through it. Stamp it. Simple thing, just stamp and you pass it up. I want to take only the aspect of stamping. She knows that is the thing to do. Then immediately she sees it. Oh, this is an urgent thing. Excellent. She got it 100%. She quickly takes it and starts coming up. When she gets to the 3rd floor, she remembers that I didn't stamp this thing. Oh, my boss will quarrel about it. She enters the 3rd floor and stamps it with another officer's stamps and starts coming to the 4th floor. to deliver it to me. And at that point, has she done it right? She's supposed to receive and stamp. And she did all these things. She received, she glanced through it. It was an urgent letter, and she took it immediately without wasting even 10 seconds. She brought it up, it was stamped, and has she done the right thing? Do you think she has done it? She has not done the right thing. She only did something right. And that thing she did is not the right thing. So that officer is only being efficient. She's not effective. But when she receives it, this thing is urgent. And it being urgent has an element of time. And you must stamp so that it will bear the time it comes, the mail came in. And the time it is executed and response given will also be timed. So you have to stamp it with time and date. And you bring it up. So that by the time it comes to me, oh, this thing is urgent and it has been in the office for about 10 minutes. So me not going to take the responsibility of resolving the issue knows that I need to make sure that response or feedback is given in the next 5 minutes. I have to leave whatever I'm doing to attend to that mail and ensure that is given. So that particular time, that customer service officer or the receptionist or secretary is said to be effective because he has done the right thing. He didn't just do anything right. He picked the right thing and he did it. So that is the difference between being efficient and being effective. It's not wrong for you to be efficient, but you must go a step further to be effective. Being effective is the ultimate, and you must be effective in whatever you do at all times. We have about 4 types of ethics in history. We have about 4 types of ethics. The number 1 ethics is called the meta-ethics. The meta-ethics, M-E-T-A, meta. This talks about the origin of principles. It is a bit philosophical. It talks about the origin of ethical principles. It deals with the origin of ethical principles that govern the specification of right and wrong behaviors. So we look at it. Where does it start from? The principle to be right and to be wrong. Is it what you learned? Is it what you acquired? We have 2 schools of thought in this area. The philosophers, some believe that every human being is born with idea. They are not wrong. We will say how, why, and how. The second school of thought believe that human being is born without idea. That is, they call it tabula rasa. When we were younger, if you want to talk somebody who is not intelligent, we say this is a tabula rasa. Though we didn't know what it meant then. But later on, I got to know what we were saying. So these are the people we think they didn't come with any idea. If a child is born today, do you think that child has idea of this word? I want to take a sample from just 3 persons. Do you think a child born today has any idea, has any knowledge? You are not wrong. Who else? A child that is born today, does he have any idea of the word or knowledge? What about you? No. Okay, I'm okay with 3 responses. But I want to tell you, I know that most of you would have seen a pregnant woman. When she's pregnant, you see the child inside the stomach. Sometimes when the baby is hungry, it will be disturbing the mother, rolling up and down. What happens? At that point, you see the mother. Stop this. I want you to stop this. This baby will just, immediately will calm down. Has anybody taught the child anything? Discipline. That the baby has it, which means every child has some ideas. The children are born with innate ideas. They have ideas of what is wrong and what is right. Let me give you another example. You see suckling babies, 2 months, 3 months. When this thing happens, in fact, you did it, all of you. You all did this particular. She's already laughing because she did it. This thing happens when a child starts growing teeth. If you doubt it, ask your mother when you get home. When they start growing teeth, children always tend to bite their mother's nipple when they are sucking. And it's always painful. When you say, mother breastfeeding baby, without knowing, we just spank the baby. And I tell you, I've never seen any mother that said, when I spank my baby, when he or she beat me, the baby started crying. They don't cry. The next thing you just see the baby. They will laugh sheepishly. Why? And you tell me that baby didn't know what he did? The baby knew. The baby knew what he did was wrong. And when they spank him, all you could do was to laugh at the mother. You think, I don't know you. You were distracted. Probably the mother was chatting or doing food. Let's say, bite. Let me bite her to pay attention to me. You just bite her, spoil. Let's say they draw attention to himself. So children are born with ideas. Is another school of thought. They are also not wrong. But at a particular time, it is just a story of where do ideas come from? Where do principles of ethics come from? So that is the belief. That is what meta-ethics is talking about. The second is descriptive ethics. That is the moral, talk about moral belief. It refers to the study of moral beliefs of the people. It is a field of empirical research into what people or society consider right or wrong. The third is normative ethics. That is, it deals with self-moral conduct. It is concerned with arriving at set of moral conduct, rules, against which behavior is judged. Then the fourth is applied or professional ethics, which is the main cause of what we are here for. So all this one we have been talking, we just did a lot of definition. You can listen to, from here now, you can listen and participate more effectively. We have been efficient, but now want to get more effective by talking of application of professional ethics. That is the applied or professional ethics. The professional ethics sets out rules to govern people of a particular profession. It could be philosophical, dealing with issues of morality. It could be sociological, also dealing with business and regulations. There are so many types of professional ethics. We have the Christian religion or religion ethics. It's a professional ethics. We have the legal ethics, which is related to legal profession or lawyers. We have ethics for teachers. We have farmers, they have their ethics. Even Okada riders, they have their ethics. Medical doctors, they all have ethics guiding them as professionals. For example, I know that a medical doctor is ethically wrong for a medical doctor to perform surgery or even consult to his own family members. They don't do it. If a medical doctor, his family member is sick, he takes them to another doctor to attend to them. They see it as wrong because if you make, I don't know why, I'm not a medical doctor, but their ethics does not permit them to give medical attention to their immediate family. We've talked about ethics of journalists. Journalists are not expected to take bribes for covering a function or for carrying out an interview, whether before or not. So also teachers, lecturers. It's ethically wrong for a lecturer to demand bribe from students. It's ethically wrong for a lecturer to harass anybody. In fact, any leader, is ethically wrong for you to harass your subordinate or your members. Whether it's verbal harassment, sexual harassment, or altercation, exchange of heated arguments, is ethically wrong in all settings for these things to come to be. So we must avoid them. So I want us to look at the Christian religious ethics. The religious ethics is largely based on morality and legalism. It is also referred as to the situational ethics, called the Christian situational ethics or love. Everything about Christianity, sorry, I may not be able to talk about Islam. I may not be able to talk about paganism because these are not the areas I specialize. I'm a Christian, so let's talk about, and I know that if there's any person who belongs to another religion, sorry, we may not take so much example from your side because I don't know so much. But for Christians or Christianity, which I know a little, I will take some example. Everything about Christianity is based on love, right from time immemorial. If you read from beginning of the Bible to the end, the Bible is love. All the principles in the Bible, they were based on love. The foundation is always love. You find that in Deuteronomy 6:5, you see where it was written, thou shalt love the God, Thou shalt love thy God, the Lord thy God, and no other beside him. Leviticus 19:18 talked about thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. John 13:35 also talked about by this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if you do what? If you love one another. In Christianity, love has no roots. It radiates from the bottom of the heart. That is what we are taught. We are taught to exude love at all times. Whatever we do, let's show love and love one another without being compelled to do that. This situational love exists among members of the same faith, but sometimes they differ. When we organize this, when this program is organized, just the way it is done here, and many people are invited. Take for example, imaginary example, the first person that enters inside this auditorium is a native doctor. We are asked to come. Everybody will come the way they will be recognized. A native doctor comes with their staff of office, all those charm they hold, with red cap tied with feathers. He sits here. The next person that comes, let's say, is a slay queen. We know slay queen now, slay mamas. That person comes and stays in this row. The next person that comes is a pastor, wearing suit, tie, and carrying his Bible. He stays there. And the next person that will come in, the fourth person is a Muslim. The person comes and stays here. I want to ask you, if the fifth person to come is a native doctor, which role will he stay? He will go there to stay. Did anybody tell him? Immediately the love which they build among themselves, among their set, will attract him there. And the next person who comes in is a slave mama. Where will he go? Slave mama will, because they will know themselves, because they will be having wig with about 7 colors: red, yellow, blue, black, indigo, all of them different. They are not difficult to identify. Just go there. And the Muslim come in, you see person wearing, what they call it, hijab, staying here. Here we go. What does that mean? Immediately, the inner love that, it's not that anybody hates any person here. The inner love that exists among members of the sect will attract you to your sect. It will tell you go here. It will tell you go there, because that is where your mates or your colleagues are seated. So that is how love attracts people. But there could be exception to this love that will be seen in times of war. If there is war, a soldier that is at the war front does not know Christian or Muslim. His mandate is to kill, and he will kill anybody. Even his pastor, they are charged to kill. There are other examples of Christian ethics, Christian situational love. The Bible tells us that Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. But the Bible also told us that Jesus is God in the form of man. So which means Jesus had 2 personalities, man and God. And in the story of Jesus, sometimes we saw where he exhibited the man nature, and sometimes we saw where he exhibited the God nature. For example, when he performed the first miracle of turning water to wine. We can't do it now, except you have the God. So that is God walking. Where he healed the blind man, that is God walking. Where somebody touched his clothes and got healed, that is God walking. But there is another example where Jesus entered the temple, I think in John chapter 2, where he entered the temple and met people selling dove. There was a feast that was supposed to be holding. They were selling dove. Gamblers were there. They were trading, doing exchanges. They call it merchandise. What did Jesus do? The Bible recorded that he made a cord. That is koboko. Took koboko and what? He flogged all of them, threw away their wares, drove their pigeons, and threw them out. That is a man walking. You forgot that the other time he said Jesus the same yesterday. So you would have expected that he will be the same at all time, that he will continue to do good. But when he saw what was wrong, the situational love immediately told him that this particular thing is not supposed to be sin. in the church. It's not supposed to be sin in my father's house. That was why he rebuked it and spoiled and scattered it. Does that make it wrong or right? You may not be able to say yes or no, because it's an issue that has to do with ethics and the way of doing, separating wrong and separating right, and knowing that which is right to do it and that which is wrong to avoid it. That is what ethics does to us. Then the second example is when Jesus Christ destroyed the rigid Mosaic law. In John chapter 8, the Bible told us about where Jesus Christ was preaching. Then the scribes and the Pharisees brought an adulterous woman to him. We remember the story of the adulterous woman. The law of Moses demands that whenever somebody is caught, a woman is caught in adultery, that woman should be stoned to death. But Jesus knows the difference. So they brought the woman. Let's do a little demonstration. They brought the woman, and they dragged the woman to him. And Jesus Christ was sitting. Come. Sorry, I have to use you as an example. It's just an example. And the men, please, you come. And they brought the woman to Jesus. Please, join, two of you should join. Hold your stone, oh. You are going to stone an adulterous woman today. Let's see whether you will be able to apply the principle of equity, fairness, and justice. So when they came, they met Jesus. Jesus was sitting down. And they brought her. They told her, Master, this woman was caught in the very act. And the law of Moses demands that she be stoned to death. Jesus Christ did something. The Bible recorded that he wrote on the ground. The Bible did tell us what he wrote, but we are going to find out what he wrote today. He wrote something on the ground. And he told them, any of you that has no sin should cast the first stone. No, they didn't go. They didn't do anything. They were still insisting that is what the law of Moses. He now sat down again and wrote longer. He wrote. Do you know what he was writing? Do you know what he wrote? Who knows what Jesus Christ wrote? The very number one. Michael, on Monday, I saw you. You went there. Ife, on Tuesday, you went there. He wrote it. James, Gabriel, you were there on Thursday, Friday. And when these people saw that they all were guilty, what did they do? They dropped their stones and they left. You see, without telling them to leave, they have already left. So that is a demonstration of knowing what is right and what is wrong, as depicted by what Jesus Christ did there. It took many years of studying the management style of Jesus Christ for us to know that it was a situational love. Two people were involved in an act of sin, which the Bible, Moses, condemned. But only one person was brought to judgment for condemnation. What of the second person? Can a woman commit adultery alone? Where is the man? They were the ones carrying stone to kill her. Is it fair? Is it just? So the woman cannot commit adultery alone. So don't kill this woman because she did not do it alone. You people, you men that are carrying stones and cutlass to kill her, I saw all of you. You went there. So that was what Jesus Christ did. Equity, fairness. And at the end of the day, the lesson he taught is still in existence up to today. The other type of ethics is the maritime or aviation ethics. This one has to do with seamen. You know, people that command ship, captains of ship. That is the maritime ethics. And the aviation ethics has to do with aircraft. The ethics when you are in the airplane, or when you are in the sea. We know, I've not been in a ship, I've not traveled in a ship before, but I have read that when there is storm in the high sea, that there are some things that there are some rituals captains perform. It doesn't matter whether you are a pastor or not, you have to do that. It doesn't take away. I was told that when there is a storm, the captain will take wine, too strong alcoholic wine. We take it to the anchor of the ship. You know, if a ship is built, there's a way they build it such that there's a point that's always protruded. That thing is for that purpose. The captain goes there with his 2 bottles of wine to the sea. I don't know, I was told. I have not been there. But it's part of their ethics, it's their belief. And that once that is done, the storm will calm down. They believe that the sea is hungry. And he needed to pacify the sea and will provide wine for the sea. That is why, up to today, the oldest type of wine, the best type of wine, they are stored in the ship. If you see people who drink old wine, they get them from the ship. There are wines that are as old as 100 years. Where are they found? In ships, in wreckage of ships. When you see divers, they go down to look for wreckage of ships. One of the things they go there to look for, they are old wines. They believe that we are stored there. And when they come out, you see some of them sell for as much as 1 million naira. One bottle of wine recovered from the bottom of sea, they sell in millions. Reason? Because they believe they are the best. Because you must offer the best to the sea when the sea is hungry. Then aviation ethics. Majority of us, we have traveled by air. We have traveled in plane. Is there any time you enter inside the plane, when the plane is about to board, captain will say, everybody switch off your phone. No person dares continue to browse. I've never seen it. Once the flight is about to take off, put off all your gadgets. They will tell you, don't even on silence, not on flight mode, put it off. 100% compliance. Because we know one person not complying could cause a lot of interference between the radiation of the phone and that in the aircraft. And if the unthinkable happens, what happens? Everybody perish. It's rare to see survivors of aircraft. So that is ethics of the maritime and aviation. Once you are there, you must comply and you must abide by it. There's no disobedience. So I see some people, when they come to banks, we tell them, don't use your phone in the banks. Don't take pictures. They argue and argue and argue. I will tell them, if you are in the aircraft and they say, put off your phone, will you not do it? Now we look at some basic issues in ethics, and we'll also consider some ethical conduct as it relates to customers and our business, and we'll round it off. We have some basic issues in ethics. Number one, we have virtues versus vices. You know, earlier we talked about morality. We're going to match morality with, not immorality. We match them side by side. What we will accept and what we will not accept. Virtues and vices. Virtue is a characteristic of an individual to exhibit high moral conduct. It attracts people and goodwill. Examples of virtue include honesty, loyalty, sincerity, benevolence, trust, hard work, etc. There are so many examples of virtues. While vice is the opposite of virtue, vices should be avoided. They include dishonesty, rudeness, wickedness, discontentment, laziness. So at anywhere you find yourself, embrace virtue and avoid vices. We have greed. Greed is an attitude. It's a thing of the attitude. Trying to take on what does not belong to you or more than what is due to you. That is greed. We know it. Bribery and gratification. Let me differentiate bribery and gratification. Some people think bribery and gratification, they are two opposite. They are very similar. Bribery is accepting an item or object that will influence your decision. So bribery comes before execution of the particular item. So bribery precedes execution, while gratification is after execution. If in the office, if I'm a secretary, I'm to receive your file and to work on it, and you bring it. Okay, let me say in the school, exams officer, you do this registration. You do registration of courses before you write exam. As you come to school, you register your courses. And when you come, I am sitting as the admin officer. You bring your file for me to sign that everything is okay. But what do? you offer me money. Meanwhile, there are 10 files that come. I'll collect your money and treat your file, you go. Because I accepted money, your money influenced me, my decision to attend to you first. That is called bribery. You have offered bribe, and I have accepted bribe. On the other side, I have been attending to you well, and you always take care of me well. And I know that you will always take care of me. So when you now come and bring your file to me, rather than treating them in order they came, because I know you are going to give me something at the end of the day, I will treat your file. Not because you have given me, but for what I will benefit at the end of the day. I will treat it, and when you are going, you will give me. That is called gratification. I allowed an item to influence my decision because of what is to come thereafter. That is gratification. Both of them are vices. They are not good. But on the other side, it is contrary to gift. A gift comes from somebody. When I'm satisfied with what you have done, I decide to give you a gift. I can give you a present without you asking, without you doing anything. Just satisfied that, oh, this person is this, you get a gift. Or this person deserves this, you give a gift. That is gift. Gifts come from the inner mind. It's not influenced by anything. So gratification, bribery, they are vices. They should be avoided in the workplace, in the school, in the offices. While gift is a virtue that should be accepted. Conflict of interest. This is allowing your personal interest to conflict with your official duties. Using the office or official equipment or facilities to execute your personal responsibilities. That is conflict of interest. You are working in an office, they pay you your salary at the end of the month. You are not expected to take up another job that will be paying you the same amount or more, even lesser, while you are still in that employment. That is the reason, the issue that government keeps fighting, that continues to cause the problem between government and ASU, that most of us will stay in school for years and years without graduating. You enter a school to do 4 years course, you end up staying 6 years. This issue is the bane of that problem. That is a conflict of interest. Why? Lecturers earn salary. At the end of the day, they take sabbatical. While you are on sabbatical, you are earning your salary in Unilag. For example, a lecturer in Unilag is earning salary, and he goes on sabbatical to Uniben, owned by the same federal government. While in Uniben, he will be earning another salary. Earning salary 2 times, but at that time, he's only teaching in Uniben. Is it supposed to be so? No. It's conflict. One employer cannot be paying one employee twice at a particular time, and that employee is doing only one job. It's part of the thing that federal government has been fighting to remove when they introduced this new salary scheme for lecturers called IPs, and they have vehemently refused it. Part of the reasons why they went on strike. I pray that they will be able to resolve it so that all these strike issues will not be there. Satisfaction. This is being satisfied with others in business from even when there are reasons not to do so. And the ninth item is utilitarianism, that requires that an action should not be carried out if it violates the principles of utility, rights, duties, or does not arise from a caring impulse. Utilitarianism requires that when you carry out an action, it should come from a caring impulse. You must care. That is why I do the things we do. I see from yesterday when I came here, I saw that the facilitators, nobody paid anybody money to be here. But right from their mind, they believe that there is need to impact the younger generation because you are the next leaders. All of you we are seeing here will be the next leaders. We tried our best to be leaders in our spheres, but we couldn't achieve a lot. So the ones we failed, the ones we achieved and we didn't finish everything, we are going to pass them over to you. That is why we are now telling you, know all these things. Empower yourself. So yesterday somebody talked about empowerment. Today it was mentioned. Knowledge building, gathering, learning, continuous learning. All these things were said. So these things came from inner mind. It came from a caring impulse. We need to care for you so that your tomorrow will not be bleak. There are so many regrets that most of us have today. I tell you my personal self, when I was in secondary school, university, all I did was reading. I just wanted first class. That was all I wanted. I read until my eye was here. This one came here because I wanted first class. But I forgot one thing. I forgot to put my hand in use. I never learned entrepreneurship. I never learned how to do anything. I didn't learn how to cut hair. I didn't learn how to repair generator. I didn't learn how to. Today, I spend a lot of money going to barber's salon to cut hair. My children, I take them there. If my generator has issue, I will call a mechanic from Lagos to come to Mowe. They will come. I will pay transport coming. I will pay transport going. They will finish repairing. They will come. After looking, they will say, we need to buy plug. We need to buy this part. I will give them transport, going, coming again to buy the parts. They will come finish. I will still pay them labor. And what are these things? If I had known how to change plug or know how to wash the exhaust of generator, all I need, as I'm coming from work, I will just buy plug from parts sellers, come home, remove it, clean it, and it's done. So most of us here, when you see lectures like this or on entrepreneurship, please embrace it. Somebody who cares wants to teach you how to utilize your hand. It will help you in the future. It will help you tomorrow. It will help you even years to come. You will benefit from it because even the way it is now, paid employments are no longer. We always hear lecturers say, my take-home pay cannot take me home. It is happening everywhere. Paid employment no longer give people satisfaction. Everybody wants to do additional things. People feel I can do farming. They go into farming themselves. People say, okay, I can sell. I can sell things. They open shop. So learn this trade while you are in school. Because the possibility that when you come out, you will get that type of job that you desire may not be there. COVID-19 has brought a lot of disruption in the economy, in the way man does things, that so many things are no longer there. Offices have reduced their staff strength. If you go to offices where they used to be 20 or 30, they have sacked some people. Some are doing rotation because they don't want offices to be crowded any longer. Before you go to banks, you see up to 8 tellers, and 20 to 50 people will be inside, crowding the banking hall. Because of COVID-19, disruption that COVID-19 brought, we don't want crowd again in the banking hall. Why? How we will achieve it? When only 3 people will be paying. The other 3 people will come next week. Or somewhere, in some instances, some were dropped or reassigned. And to do that, we say, customers, you have to bear some brunt. Why we bear some? Customers will stay outside under the sun. The best we do, we provide canopy for you. You stay there while we allow people to come in one after the other because we don't want the banking halls to be crowded. The same thing happened in supermarkets. If you go to hospitals today, you will see canopies outside. Nobody wants to overcrowd their facilities because of COVID-19. We don't want to overcrowd our facilities. So that is why these things were done. It's a disruption that came with COVID-19. So where you see people, a company that used to employ 20, 30 people, they no longer employ. So, and we have everybody who is going to school, graduating thousands of, where are they going to work? The job is no longer there. Federal government or state governments are no longer paying salaries. They are no longer caring about our products or services. It's our customer. Also, our customer's customer is our customer. So when you have a service, you are a service provider, you are selling goods. For example, you are a medical doctor, you provide services to sick people. I sell medical equipment, or I develop medical equipment. When I'm developing medical equipment, I don't develop it to suit the medical doctor who patronizes me directly, but rather I develop it to suit his customers, that is his patients, because they are the ultimate user. That is how my customer, who is a medical doctor, his own customers, the sick patient, becomes my customer. So I also care about, the way I care for my customer, I must also care about my customer's customer. In conclusion, we say ethics drives business. Business survives because of customers. And customers are the reasons why we are in business. Customers are king. We always hear where we say customers are king all the time. We all say it. If you go to any place to buy something or you need that they don't attend to you, you always feel superior because you are paying for what you are there for. You are always the king. We also hear the maxim. I call it the 2 golden rules of customer service. There are 2 golden rules of customer service. The rule 1, I'm already concluding this the roundup. The rule 1 says customers are always right. I want to do another exercise again. Let me pick somebody from the back. Rule 1 says customers are always right. But sir, is it true that customers are always right? You agree that rule 1, that customers are always right, must stand?
Yes.
Okay. Madam, rule 1 says customers are always right. Is it true?
Yes, sir.
Are customers always right?
Yes, sir.
What about you?
Yes, sir.
Customers are always right.
Yes, sir.
Is it true that they are always right? Is there no condition that customers are wrong?
Even though they are wrong, they are still right.
You said the rule 2. So that brings us to the end of this section. Our rule 2 says when customers are wrong, remember rule 1. So which means customers are always right. Thank you very much. Thank you. At this point, I will welcome questions if we have any. Or as much as we can, let's take questions from the house. Any question? You can ask your question based on ethics, based on customer service, based on productivity. As much as we can, we answer it. There are some I cannot answer because I started by telling you people are too great. When I came here, I saw the crop of people here. I was even scared yesterday that the kind of question that they will bombard me with, I may not be able to answer. So let's get the questions. Where I cannot answer, there are people here that are better than myself. You will help me to answer it. So don't be scared. Bring out your questions. We will answer them together. Any question?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Concerning customer service, in a situation whereby you are attending to a customer and he or she is being rude to you and then insulting your intelligence and making you feel less of yourself, what do you advise you do?
Okay, thank you. That is a rude customer. How should we handle a rude customer? Okay, any other question? Okay, let me answer that. Maybe while I'm answering, you have to, another question may come up. We are all customers at different times. At different times, we find ourselves being customers to another person. So it will now first look at why am I behaving the way I'm behaving. Somebody has offended you or somebody did not deliver a service or product to you professionally the way you expected. Or let me put myself on the other side. And the customer is angry now. You are angry. How do I attend to this person? The first step, the only thing to do is to make sure that that customer is happy. No angry customer must leave your facility angry. So you must ensure that that customer is happy. So how do you do it? The first step is to keep quiet and allow the customer lay his or her complaints down properly. Then you will take the complaints. Then you must address it. If it is what you cannot address, refer it to the next superior officer. By the time a customer is being referred to a superior officer, that customer, you have started providing satisfaction because immediately he knows that I am going to see his boss. If it was an attitude problem that he or she complained about, you know that somebody that will sanction him or bring about correction is the person you are going to see. So one It's for you that is involved to keep quiet and listen to the complaints of the customer. The next thing is, if it has to do with the service you are providing that the customer is not satisfied, you explain while it happened. If it is beyond you, take it to the next level officer. Then the next level officer should also ensure that not only is the customer happy, the customer must smile before he goes. And by the time he goes home, he must continue, he must extend that resolution to him or her after that. So whatever a customer wants in your facility, there must be, and you must provide an answer. That is your responsibility. Where you don't have it or your capacity cannot provide it, please refer it to the next superior officer to do so. So you must not handle what you cannot, don't take on what you cannot handle because you want to prove you are a superhuman officer. Ensure that the customer, before he leaves, is satisfied and is happy. Thank you. Any other question? Okay, thank you very much. I forgot to do something. Maybe I will do my own. I will ask some people this question. I used it as an exercise in some places. About 3 places I have done it. Nobody has gotten the answer. So maybe the first person to disappoint me is here. Okay, listen to the story. Or there's a certain rich man. I will give you a story, and I will ask my question. You have like 5 seconds to raise up your hand. The first person to raise up his hand, and there will be a gift. I won't announce the gift because it's too small for whoever will get it. There's a rich man, very noble rich man. He has a lot of wealth. He has a lot of camel and horses. So the rich man, he has 2 sons. And he knows that when he dies, that there will be issue in dividing or sharing his assets. So he called his 2 sons together and he gave them a task. He told them they are going to embark on their horses to do a race. They are going to run a race on their horses. And he told them that whoever comes last or the last person to arrive will get a larger chunk of his assets. If you come first, you will take small. If you come second, that is last, you will take larger. He now told them to embark on the race on their horses. Both of them, you know, A has his own horse, B has, let me make it simpler. So that I'm giving you a clue now. A has his own horse, B has his own horse. So he told them, embark on your horses and do this race. By whoever comes first, take the smaller part of the weight. Then whoever comes second, take the larger. This one, look at, if I start running first, if I start early, I will arrive early. So let me relax, let my brother start. Let him move ahead so that I will arrive. The other one said, if we don't do anything, this race will not start. He started, he got to a point, he didn't see his brother. He parked and started waiting for his brother to come. When his brother got there and he met him, I said, what is happening? They couldn't move forward. So 2 of them now decided to consult a wise man in the town. Then the wise man now, after telling the wise man the task, the wise man now told them something. Immediately, they took off the race. The question is, what did the wise man tell them? I've told us the answer already. What did the wise man tell them? 1, 2, 3, 4. I said 5 seconds to raise up your hand. It's simple now. I've said the answer.
The wise man told them to work together to reach that place in the same time.
Good. Let's clap for him.
said both of them should get there at the same time.
Get there
At the same time.
at the same time. That's another good attempt. The man in red, a bit pink, yes, himself.
With what they say, the vice master told them to work as a team so that they can be able to get an equal share of the weight.
Okay, that's the same answer. You did well.
Was that the wise man told them to keep on going on their journey. Maybe one of them will get tired or something, and when I am as the last person.
If you get tired, I call myself.